All right, population of rabbits oscillates 33 above and below an average of 127 during the year, hitting the lowest value in January, t equals 0. Find an equation for the population P in terms of months since January. So January would be 0, February would be 1. Okay, let's give it a try. Screenshots. All right, so what should we do? We should draw a picture. Good idea. All right, so we oscillate 33 above and below an average of 127. So they're giving me the average, the midline. Okay, that's cool. Let's actually take some notes and we'll draw it. So midline is 127. That's what we call our value K in the formula. And it doesn't say where to use sine or cosine, we get to pick. So we'll wait a minute to pick. Oscillates 33 above and below. Oh, above and below, that's our amplitude. Okay, we usually call that A. Let's see, during the year, it oscillates between those two. So our period must be measuring in months, 12 months. So we can get our multiplier because the period P, not population P, is always 2 pi over our multiplier B, our horizontal stretch or compression multiplier. So that's equal to 12, multiply B up and the 12 down. We get 2 pi over 12, our multiplier is pi over 6. And then the only thing we have to do next is think about a phase shift. And to think about the phase shift, I need to see a graph. So let's try graphing this. All right, so read it again. Population of rabbits oscillates 33 above and below 127 during the year, hitting the lowest in January. Okay, so we're going to start at the min. And then 127 is the midline. So we're going to need a broken axis again. So axis, do a little break. And then next axis, there. And we're doing a whole year, so 0 here is January, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 should be another January, right? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So we started counting at 0. That's why January ends up at 12 again instead of 13. So February would be 1 and so on. Okay, so 127 is in the middle. So let's draw a midline, different color. Let's put the middle right here. So that's my 127. I need to go 33 up from that. So that would be 160. Should be my max. And 33 down from that is going to be 90 something. For some reason, my brain's not doing that one. 127 minus 33, 94. There we go. Thank you, computer. Help my brain. All right, so again, down that same amount right there is 94. So that's my min. Okay, hitting the lowest in January. All right, so let's graph. So we have a low here in January. The next low will be right there, following January. The max should happen right in the middle. So 6, let's see, right in the middle. Ooh. Yeah, it should be 6 months later, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in July. So that should be right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So the max occurs up here. All right, so 12 is our total period. Half period is 6. We'll hit the midline, half of that. So 3 later. So 1, 2, 3. We'll hit the midline here. And then 1, 2, 3 at 9. We'll hit the midline again. All right, so there's one cycle of my wave. Let's try to draw it in. To the best of my artistic ability, right? And then it'll continue to rise up that way. It's going to be coming down from that way. And there's our rabbit population cycling over a year. Okay, so what do I want to use, sine or cosine? I guess I'm going to pick that as my target. So maybe this right here used to be at the origin. So that needs to be shifted right 3 up 127. So this would be then my phase shift. So that's what I meant. I got to graph it out to kind of picture what's going on. So if I'm going to use sine, then my phase shift is 3, because sine starts at the origin and rises from there, and the origin is on the midline of the sine function. If you wanted to use cosine, then you would use cosine starts at its peak, so you would have used this point to find your phase shift. So I'm going with a phase shift of 3 based on a sine function. So your phase shift depends on sine or cosine. All right, so my formula, A times the sine of B parentheses x minus h plus k, and here is my h. Amplitude is 33. I guess we'll stick with red. Times the sine. To get the right period, I need a multiplier of pi over 6. To get things to start off in the right spot, I need to shift that over parentheses x minus 3. And to get it to the right midline, I have to add the 127 on the outside. So that should be this rabbit population given the right phase shift, and the other information if we start off at January, t equals 0. We'll worry about April in a minute. So this one is 33 sine, and let's graph it to make sure we didn't mess this up. Occasionally, I lie to myself about these things accidentally. All right, so what are we looking for in the graph? In the graph, we're going to be looking to see if we have our minimum of 94 rabbits at 0 January. 3 months later, we should see the midline of 127, and 6 months later, we should see the max of 126, and then our full period should complete again 12 months later with the min of 94. All right, let's hope. I'm going to just reload this page to clear it out. So we need to pick a new window. So let's pick the window first. So for the window, I'm going to go from, let's say, -6, and then let's show more than one period. So a period is 12, maybe we'll go out to 18. And then to see the rabbits, our min was 94, right? 33 below 127, so maybe we'll start at 90. And then our max was what, 160, 127 plus 33, so we'll go a little higher, maybe we'll go up to 170. All right, so that window should show 2 periods. And we think they were using P. I'm going to use X here, equals 33 times, I'm using sine, pi over 12 is my multiplier to get the right period, parentheses, then the shift, x minus 3, close parentheses, and shift the whole thing up to 127 for the midline. Let's graph the midline. Y equals 127, And I'm going to zoom out a little. It didn't quite show me it the way I wanted. All right, there we go. So, oh, that did not work. Why not? Oh, shit, pi over 12, that's not right, is it? Should be pi over 6. Must have been thinking about the last problem. All right, so right away I could see it wasn't right because my bottom wasn't at the bottom, wasn't at the axis. So I got my multiplier wrong. It's pi over 6. Oh, whew, that's better. Okay, so there's my 0.94. And then 3 months later, I should hit the midline of 127. And a total of 6 months later, I should hit the max of 160. And then after a year goes by, 12 months, I should be back at 94. Cool. I have a wave function that matches the information given. All right, but then they tweaked it on us, right? What did they do to us? I'm going to type this one in while I got it. 33 times the sine of pi over 6, parentheses x minus 3, parentheses, parentheses, plus 127. And right, xt. Thank you, computer. You're so awesome. Right on. All right. What if the lowest value occurred in April? Oh, what if it occurred in April? Okay, well, that'd be different. So we're going to draw that. And some days I can just look at it and go, oh, yeah, just do this. But mostly I got to draw it again and rethink it. Okay, so what do we know now? We still have the same information. So we still have our midline. Let's use a different color. Midline is 127. Amplitude is 33. Our period is still 12, right? And then we know that period equals 2 pi over b. That's not a b, that's a b. So that gives me 12 equals 2 pi over b. Switch the b and the 12. They're not equal, but they're related. B equals 2 pi over 12, which is that pi over 6. And so the new information is going to affect my phase shift. So phase shift equals question mark. So this time I want the minimum to be in April, right? Let's go back, double check. Lowest value to occur in April, all right. So we want the min of 94 rabbits in April. January, February, March, April, that's 4 months. So that means I want the point 494. And then I still want everything else up there to happen. All right, so let's graph. So let's say that's my midline. Y equals 127. And then the x-axis is going to go down to 94, up to 160 there. And the mid, I want to hit bottom at 4 months. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, that's my 4 for April. And I want to bottom out there. So the period's 12. So the next time I bottom out will be way over here. So 12 months later. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 12 plus 4 is 16. So that'd be my next bottom out right there. Right in the middle is my peak. So 6 months later would be 10. So my peak should be there, and then we'll hit the midline 3 months after the min there. So 1, 2, 3 midline, and then after the max 1, 2, 3 midline. So this is my new wave here. So it's a shift of the other wave. So I should just be able to adjust that shift I had before by 4. 1, 2, 3, we'll hit a midline there. All right, so this is my wave here. All right, so if we stick with the sine, we would be aiming at, I would be aiming at this point right here as my target because the sine rises up from the origin to the, for my phase shift. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So then I would choose a phase shift of 7 for the sine function. Let's see what happens. And let's see, how else does that make sense? Well, before my phase shift, it was 3, with January being 0. Then we wanted to adjust by 4 more months. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So I'm just going to change that 3 to a 7, see if this works out. So I should have a min in the 4th month of April. There it is. Okay. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's a lie. I counted. No, that seems to make sense. Okay, why do I think this might not be right? Because they counted January as 0, and I was thinking of January as 1. January, February, counting on my fingers, January, February, March, April. April is 3 months. It's the 4th month, but it's 3 months after January. That makes sense there. Yeah, so what's messing my counting up is usually when we count months, we start with January as 1, right? Count on my fingers. I have 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, January, February, March, April, the 4th month. But here, if January is 0, then April would be the 3rd month, right? Let's go back and look at the picture to confirm that. So this graph would be right if January was month 1. Yeah, let's look at the picture, double check that. So let's go back to this picture here, right? So here they said January is t equals 0, and they didn't change that down here. They just said let the min occur in April. So on this graph down here, January, February, this would be March, this would be April, and the 3rd month, that's where I want this min to shift to, right there. And then everything else gets shifted 3 also, right? So this point gets shifted 1, 2, 3 over. This point gets shifted 1, 2, 3 over. Yeah. All right, so correction. Here I miscounted because I was thinking of January as month 1. Since they said January is month 0, then this would be January here, February, March, April should really be right there. And so all these points should actually be over just a little bit like that. So I want this red wave, not the green one. That's the wave I want. Okay. So for this one here, again, January equals 0 threw me off there. Sine of pi over 6. Phase shift would be t minus 6 because January is 0 plus 127. So that should be the other function here. All right, that was a tricky one.